Before we start coding part 7, let me show you what we are building. The document has already been uploaded, extracted, chunked, embedded, and stored inside Qdrant. Now the user can ask a question. For example, what does this document say about embeddings? So when I click search relevant chunks, the ASP.NET application sends this question to the FastAPI embedding service. The service converts the question into a 384 dimensional vector. That question vector is then sent to Qdrant. Qdrant compares it with the stored document chunk vectors and returns the top k chunks that are closest in meaning. Here we can see the retrieved chunks displayed in the MVC application along with the score, chunk index, character count, and chunk text. This is retrieval stage of RAG. In part 8, these RAG chunks will become the context for the LLM generated answers. Let me quickly place part 7 in the overall RAG pipeline. On the left side here, you can see what is already complete from parts 1 to 6. The document is uploaded, the text is extracted, the text is split into chunks, embeddings are generated, and those vectors are stored in Qdrant. That means the ingestion side of the pipeline is already done and the document is processed only once. Now part 7 begins. Here is the part 7. The user asks a question. That question is sent to the FastAPI embedding service, which converts it into a 384 dimensional vector. That question vector is then sent to Qdrant. Qdrant compares it with the stored document chunk vectors and performs a similarity search. From there, it returns the top k, most relevant chunks, and finally, those retrieved chunks are displayed in the ASP.NET MVC application. So part 7 is all about semantic retrieval. And as you can see in the far right, part 8 will take these retrieved chunks and pass them to an LLM to generate the final answer. Now let's walk through the files that make this retrieval flow work. Now the first thing that I changed was app settings.json, and look at this quadrant. So the thing is that the base URL is need to be looked into, the collection name, vector size, and default top k value. The vector size remains 384 because the sentence transformers model used in the FastAPI service produces 384 dimensional embeddings. This setting also helps us validate that the question embedding matches the stored chunk embeddings. This is a new options class for part 7. It was created within a folder of its own, options. Now, instead of reading Qdrant settings directly from configuration in every service, I bind those settings in a strongly typed class. This is a strongly typed Qdrant options class. This keeps the retrieval service cleaner and makes the important Qdrant values explicit, like base URL with the running on localhost port 6333. Collection name, that is RAG chunks, here is set as RAG chunks, vector size, and the default top key. Now comes this file, Qdrant DTOs. In part 6, this file already contained the DTOs for creating the Qdrant collection and storing vectors. In part 7, I extend the same file with query request and query response DTOs. Like this, Qdrant query request, Qdrant query response. Okay. That keeps the project structure consistent with the earlier part. The new DTOs represent the request we sent to Qdrant and the scored points we receive back from Qdrant. Qdrant query result, Qdrant score points. Now this retrieved chunk.cs, retrieved chunk class is also a new addition, and this model is not a Qdrant DTO. It's the clean application model used by the MVC page. Qdrant returns technical objects called points with point ID, with payload and score, and I map those points into retrieved chunk objects so the view can display only what matters: score, chunk index, character count, and the retrieved chunk text. Next is iVector search service, which is a new interface. So this interface defines the retrieval operation of this application. The controller will call search async with a user question and a top K value, string question in top K, and a cancellation token. The controller doesn't know how the question is embedded, how Qdrant is called, or how the response is mapped. This keeps the layer thin. Now this is the new vector search service, which is the heart of part 7. This actually implements iVector search service, that interface that we just discussed. Now the service first sends the user question to the existing FastAPI embedding. Then it validates that the returned question embedding has 384 dimensions. After that, it sends the question vector to Qdrant using the query endpoint. Qdrant compares this vector with the stored chunk vectors and returns the closest matches. Finally, the service maps those Qdrant results into retrieved chunk objects for the view. Now this file is edited, rag upload view model. Now it already carried the properties from part 1 to 6, document, upload, image, placeholder, extracted text. Okay. So what I did for part 7, I added the retrieval properties. So retrieval properties are these: top K, retrieved chunk, search message. Okay. And this allows the same MVC page to support both document ingestion and semantic retrieval. Just one upload view model, rag upload view model, will be sufficient to support both document ingestion and the semantic retrieval. And of course, the question is there. Now we are onto the rag controller, which is already there. We have to edit this. So the controller receives the vector search service through dependency injection. Okay. The new ask action validates the question. This is the ask action method. So it validates the question, calls the search service, stores the return chunks in the view model, and returns the same index view. Okay. Here I am leaving the details for you to study from the GitHub source repository. So I'm not going here line by line. Okay. And you need to notice that the controller doesn't build Qdrant JSON and doesn't call Qdrant directly. The search details remain inside the service layer. When I say search details remains inside the service layer, that is where you're getting it from. So you're calling the search async method of the vector search service. All right. Finally, we are into the program class, which wires everything together. The existing embedding client remains registered for the FastAPI service. So all other services that were registered till the part 6 are still there. The only thing that is now registered is vector search service. Okay. So also now the vector store service continues to handle part 6 persistence. The new vector search service is registered as an HTTP. Okay. HTTP client that talks to Qdrant on port 6333. With this registration, the controller can request iVector search service through dependency injection. Here is the iVector search service. Now let us test the finished part 7 implementation. So Qdrant is running on port 6333 and FastAPI is running on port 8000. So I will upload the test document once and click process document. Click on process document. Click on open and click on process document. Now application extracts the texts and then generate text chunks generates the embeddings and stores vectors in Qdrant. This part we have already covered from part 1 to part 6. The vector dimension is 384, which matches our Qdrant collection configuration. Now I can ask a question without uploading the document again. I will ask, say, for example, you can ask any question. I will ask what stage is semantic retrieval, and click on search relevant chunks. So when I click this actually retrieves top K retrieved chunks. Okay, so what happens in the background is ASP.NET sends the question to FastAPI embedding service. The question becomes 384 dimensional vector, and that vector is sent to Qdrant. Qdrant compares the question vector with stored chunk vectors and returns the top K chunks. Okay, so you can see chunk index 2 characters 580, chunk index 1 characters 799. So these are distinct with some scores attached. Okay, we can see the retrieved chunks along with the score, chunk index, character count, and chunk text. And this confirms that part 7 semantic retrieval is working end to end. So you will get the answer also. The fourth stage is the semantic retrieval. Now here you can see the application is not generating the final answer. That is the next step. In part 8, these retrieved chunks will become the context for the LLM generated answer. Thank you very much. If you like the video, please do share with friends and subscribe to this channel and put your comments.